when it all falls down. And when it falls down, who you gon' call now? Hey, and when it all falls down, yeah.
When it all falls, tell me who you gon' call. Back against the wall, you won't make it if you stall. We gon' get out before Babylon fall. On the inner court, I never worship ball. Or bail if I'm ever in a cell. He gon' get me out like Joseph in the well. Or better yet, like Isaac in the ram. Forgave again and again, save us from jam after jam. From the head to the tail, this the tale of all tales. In a time like no other, can't be shaken by the pills. Take off that old attire and put on that new apparel. The Pope is the new Pharaoh, tell New Jerusalem hello.
Yo, peace and blessings. Shalom. So on my regular phone, I was running out of space, so I had to redo this lesson real quick. But you know, I'm going through the Psalms. This is for the truth, and you know, what I'm doing, I think it got significance because it's giving us the meat, the milk, to get you ready for the meat, to digest the weightier things, you know, the things that is given by the Spirit, you know what I'm saying, the mysteries and the understanding of certain things. But going through the Psalms, man, since I decided to do this, I've been coming across things like the book I just read, and I forget if that was the last video or the one before, but I think it was the last one. Reading the power of the Psalms and just the history, how it was put together. Not how it was put together, but like how it's compiled in the Psalms in the Bible. Like the book of Moses being the first 5 books. The Psalms is kind of broke down like that too. It got 5 books. But so I'm reading a book right now that's going over the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it's going into basically the different texts that was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And as I'm reading it, chapter 6, it's called the Psalms of Thanksgiving of the New Covenant. So I'm gonna go over the history and basically the intro to these passages of the Psalms, and it's gonna be 5, I believe. And it's basically New Covenant Psalms that was not added to the New Testament as canonical, biblical canon, whatever they label as canon, that they put in the Bible that we know as the Bible today. But if you do your research and study, you know it's not just 66 books, it's more than that. A lot of them they took out, a lot of them ain't been found, and some still getting found to this day. So the Psalms of Thanksgiving of the New Covenant, it say the collection of the Psalms of Thanksgiving has come to us in the in 4 leaves of leather, more or less damaged, all 4 acquired by the Hebrew University. 3 of them could be unrolled without too much difficulty, but the fourth needed much care, and its contents were not revealed until later. The writing, which is good, is not in the same hand throughout. 2 scribes apparently have worked at the manuscript in its entirety. The scroll must be more than 2 meters long. The height of the leaves exceed 30 centimeters. Each leaf contained 4 columns of about 35 lines. Professor Sekunik has so far made known only 5 of the Psalms of this collection, which seems to include about 20 in all. So it's only 5 that we gonna read, but they found more. They are hymns of thanksgiving, Eucharists, I don't know that word. Of course, they are composed in verses following the law of parallelism, but with a rather loose rhythm. The style closes Salaki. The style closely imitates that of the Psalms of the other poetic writings of the Old Testament. Biblical reminiscence abound. The psalmist's spirit has been nourished and saturated with reading the sacred books, and the quotations shine out at every moment, like so much precious stones drawn lavishly from the treasure of inspired scripture. In this respect, the song of the collections are exceedingly compared with the ancient Christian hymns, which are to be found inserted in the Gospel according to Luke. But the Magnificent, the Benedictus, the Nunc Dimittis, they also have some flavor, the flavor of the pure essence of the Bible and the profoundly mystical accent. But if these songs are as if woven from quotations from the Old Testament, it would be a serious mistake to consider that they express only its religious ideas for the number of the sect. All biblical texts are to be interpreted allegorical. The Habakkuk commentary, which is other Dead Sea Scroll findings, have shown us this abundantly. The same is true for the Damascus document. Let us be very clear: if the spiritual songs of the New Covenant kept the expression of the Old Covenant, the general sense and spirit are different. In actual fact, it is new wine which has been poured into old bottles. I believe what it's saying basically is like it's got the same format and how it's like written and like said, but not the understanding or the doctrine is different. But if you know the difference between the old covenant and the new covenant, we know that the Most High sent his son to make better promises that wasn't attached to the old covenant. So this new covenant has better promises, and I believe that's basically what that's talking about, like the newness of it. You know what I'm saying? The doctrine. They say the Habakkuk commentary, the rule of the Damascus document, has already shown us something of this new spirit and these new doctrines. It is in the light of these new perspectives which has thus been open to us that we must now read these Psalms of Thanksgiving. Here I give the translation of all those which have been published. The reader will be able to recognize the intense spirituality which animates them, and doubtless also to appreciate their lyrical quality and their unquestionable literary value. There is no author's name. Perhaps they are by several authors. It is possible that one psalm was composed by the Master of Justice himself in Psalm D. For example, it would certainly seem that it is talking about him, his role of prophet teaching, his tribulations and his glorious reinstatement. But the I may be fictitious, or rather, if the psalm is the work of a follower, he may have used the letter I by mystically identifying himself with the master in these fervent meditations. When the spirit become wholly absorbed in the masters and these ecstatic transports. Alright, so I'm finna start in the Psalms. It's Psalms A. Labeled Psalms A. It say, I give thee thanks, Adoni. Adoni meaning Lord or Master. For thou hast placed my soul in the bundle of life, and thou hast protected me from all the snares of the pit, and the violent sought my soul. When I trusted in thy covenant, but they are an assembly of worthlessness, and a congregation of Belial, meaning Baal, right? They do not know that it is from thee that my existence comes, and that through thy mercies thou wilt save my soul. For from thee proceed my steps, and if they attack my soul, this also comes from thee, that thou mayest be glorified when the wicked are judged, and thou mayest be strengthened in me in the presence of the sons of men. For it is by thy mercy that I have my being. Like we was reading in the other Psalms, is by the Most High's will that we dwell in safety or not. You know, it says, and I said, the valiant pitch their camp against me, and they surround me, armed with all their weapons of war, and they let the arrows fly, for whose wounds there is no healing. And the flashing of the lances was like a fire which devoured the forest. And like the tumult of mighty waters was the roaring of their voices, an overwhelming hurricane, driving destruction for many. And their brooding, they will hatch the asp and worthlessness while their waves rose up. And as for me, while my heart melted like water, my soul lay hold on thy covenant. It's real metaphorical, you could tell. It said, the net which they have spread for me entangles their feet, and to the snares which they have hidden for my soul, they have themselves fallen, while my foot remains standing on solid ground. In the assemblies I will bless thy name. If you really just read how that's put together, it sounds like a song. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it sounds like, you know, like a song with a concept. Like, he just put that joint together, and he put the metaphors in there. He likened things to things that where the Most High's power with natural, like a hurricane or like fire or like a volcano, like just natural power from the Most High, and basically giving him his praise. Like, that's really what the music be about, like the knowledge that he bestowed on us and blessed us with, and he gave us an outlet to present it in the most creative way to get people attention. So this is Psalms B. It say, I give thee thanks, Adonai, for thine eye watches over my soul, and thou hast delivered me from the envy of the interpreters of lies, and from the congregation of those who seek flattery. Salaki, thou hast redeemed the soul of the poor, him whom they intended to cause to disappear, so that he might shed his blood in thy service. So ignorant were they that it is from thee that my steps proceed. And they made it said, and they made of me an object of scorn and shame, in the mouth of all those who seek deceit. Then thou, O my power, didst secure the soul of the poor and needy, to snatch it from the hands of one stronger than he. And thou hast redeemed my soul from the hand of the mighty, and in the midst of their outrage, thou hast not left me without courage, so that I should desert thy service from fear of the evil blows of the wicked. What's the wicked? Alright, moving on to Psalm C. This is Psalm C. It say, I give thanks, O Adonai, for thou hast redeemed my soul from the pit and from Sheol, Abaddon. Thou hast brought me up again to the top of the world. It says, then I wandered on the endless plain, and I knew that there was hope for him whom thou hast formed from the dust and destined for the eternal assembly. Yea, it says, the perverse spirit hast thou purified of a great sin, so that he might mount guard with the army of the saints, and that he might enter into communion with the congregation of the sons of heaven. Yea, thou hast caused to fall on man an internal destiny amongst the intelligent spirits, that he should praise thy name in communion with them, and that he should tell of thy wonders before all thy works. But I, creature of clay, what am I? Formed with water, for whom have I worth? And what strength can I have? For I stood in the realm of malice, and amongst the wretched through the working of destiny. Then thou didst stir the soul of the poor in the midst of many tribulation. But you see how I say the wretched through the working of destiny, because basically everything is already predestined. If you're going to be wicked, like in Revelation, it say, let the wicked be wicked still, let the righteous be righteous still. Because if you was created to fulfill a certain lot, that's your lot. You know what I'm saying? Certain people got a lot that the Most High specifically ordained for them. That's their destiny. So destiny is real. Predestination is real. Continuing to steal Psalm C, it say, an overwhelming misfortune accompanied my steps, while all the snares of the pit opened up, and all the pitfalls of the wickedness spread out, and the net of the wretched stretched out on the surface of the waters, while all the arrows of the pit flew forth straight to their target, and were shot without leaving any hope with the rope. Because when the Most High judgment is set forth, ain't nothing gonna stop that. It say, while the rope of destruction descended on the demand, and the destiny of anger on the abandoned, and the overwhelming of wrath on the outcast. And it was the time of fury for all Belial, and the bonds of death surrounded, so that there was no escape. And the torrents of Belial overflowed all their banks. The fire consumed all the beings who draw from it, causing to disappear from their river every tree, both green and withered, and it lashes with whirlwinds of flame, until there was no longer any creature who drinks there. It consumes the foundations of asphalt and the base of the earth. And the foundations of the mountain are the prey of burning, and the roots of flint become torrents of pitch. And it consumes even as far as the great abyss, and the torrents of Belial break into Abaddon. And the creatures of the abyss, endowed with reason, make their den resound amongst the tumult of the eddies of mud, and the earth cries out because of the misfortune which has come upon the land. Because when the wicked is in rule, the earth is in mourning. And the Most High sets up the wicked to rule the world, because it's to basically straighten up the children of Israel. Because it's a scripture that say he made the wicked to basically punish the wicked. Well, he made the nations to punish the wicked. So it says wicked, the powers of the world is not a terror unto good works. You know what I'm saying? So if you doing what the Most High wants you to do, he not gonna use these other nations against you if you are doing what you're supposed to do. It says, and all the endowed with reason utter cries, and all those who are thereon are in panic, and they stagger in the great misfortune. For the Most High thunders in the tumult of his strength, and his holy dwelling resounds with the truth of his glory, while the host of heavens make its voice to be heard. The foundations of the world totter and tremble. His power is great and terrible. It said, and the host of the valiant of heaven, the heavens, scourge the earth and does not withdraw before executing the decree of extermination, final and unparalleled. That sounds like Ezekiel. When the angels are like hooves feet, the four living spirits and four living creatures, when they are commanded to go and to do something that the Most High told them to do, whether that be destroy or whatever, they not gonna hesitate. They just gonna go as soon as the command is given. So we at Psalms D. It's like Psalms D. It says, I give thee thanks, Adoni, for thou hast illuminated my face by thy covenant. My face, like Moses, right? And I sought thee. Then like a variable dawn, like destiny, thou didst appear unto me. But as for them, thy people, the prophets of untruth, through their words flattered them. And interpreters full of guile led them astray. And they rushed to their destruction without understanding, for their works are those of pure folly. For I was an object of scorn to them, and they did not esteem me when thou was strengthened in me. It sounds like when you go into that new covenant, how the brothers is gonna cast you off as a bug out. It say, for I have driven from my country as the bird from his nest, and all my companions and acquaintance were thrust far from me, and they treated me as a useless thing. And they interpreters of lies and seers full of guile, they formed against me plots of Belial, battering thy law which thou hast engraved on my heart for the flatteries which they addressed to thy people. And they prevented the thirsty from drinking and draught of knowledge. Drunk the well dry of knowledge. They just giving out wormwood. And when they were thirsty, they made them drink sour wine, so that the Most High saw their error, so that they were in madness at their feasts, so that they were taken in their nets. For as for thee, thou art the Most High. Thou scornest every thought of Belial, and thy decision it is which shall remain, and the thought of thy heart shall endure forever. But as for them, they are the wretched, and they from thoughts of moth Belial, and they seek thee with a double heart, and they are not firm in thy truth. A root giving poison and bitter fruit like wormwood is in their thoughts, and the obstinacy of their hearts accompanies their inquiries. And they have sought thee amongst the idols, and him who caused them to stumble in sin have they set before them, and they have come to seek thee on the faith of the words of the prophets of untruth, who propagate error. And as for them, it is with barbarous lips and in a strange tongue that they speak to thy people, so that they cunningly bring their words to foolishness, for they have not hearkened unto thy voice. Amen. This sounds like prophecy of what's going on today with these camps and with just everybody, all these prophets of untruth. I like that. It say, and they have not given ear to thy word, for they have said of the intelligent vision, it is not true, and of the way dear to thy heart, it is not that. For thou, O Lord, thou wilt answer them, judging them in thy might, according to their idols, and according to the multitude of their rebellions, so that they might be taken in their thoughts, they who have wandered far from thy covenant. And when judgment is made, thou wilt suppress all men of deceit. It says, so they might be taken in their thoughts, they who have wandered far from the covenant. And when judgment is made, thou will spread all men of deceit. Suppress all men of deceit. And seers of error will no longer be found, for there is no foolishness in all thy works, nor cunning in the projects of thy heart. And they who are in accord with thy spirit shall stand before thee. And they who walk according to the way dear to thy heart will remain steadfast forever. And as for me, in leaning upon thee, I shall raise myself up and take my stand against those who reject me. It say, and I shall bring my hand against those who scorn me, and I shall raise myself up against those who reject me, and I shall bring my hand against those who scorn me. For they have no regret for me when thou wast strengthened in me. But thou didst appear to me in thy strength as destiny, and thou hast not covered with shame the face of those who inquire after me, who have united together in thy covenant, and have hearkened to me, and who have walked in the way dear to thy heart, and who have all set themselves to join thee in the assembly of the saints. And thou wilt bring forth their case with success, and truth with justice, and thou wilt not lead them astray through the acts of the wretched when they plot against them. But thou wilt set their fear on thy people, together with destruction for all the people of the lands, in order to suppress those who transgress the orders of thy mouth when judgment is made. And through me hast thou illuminated the face of many, and thou hast strengthened them until they were countless. Remember in the intro of this, it was saying how one of them sound like the Master of Justice or the Messiah speaking. It said, for thou hast caused me to know the marvelous mysteries, and in thy marvelous assembly thou hast exalted my place, and thou hast worked wonders in the presence of many because of thy glory, and to make known to all living thy works, thy mighty works. What is a creature of flesh like this, and what is the creature of clay to exalt such marvels? Yea, he, man, is plunged in sin from his mother's womb, and in the guilt of infidelity unto old age. Yea, I know that the justice does not belong to man, nor perfection of way to the sons of man. It is to the Most High Yahweh that all the works of justice belong, while the way of man is not sure. If it is not through the Spirit that the Most High has created for him, making perfect a way for the sons of man, so that they may know all his works, those which he has accomplished in the power of his might, and the abundance of his love towards all the sons of his good pleasure. And as for me, agitation and trembling have seized me, and my bones are shattered, and my heart melts as wax before the fire, and my knees slip like water which falls on a sloop. For I have remembered my faults and the infidelity of my fathers, when the wicked rose up against thy covenant, and wretched against thy word. And I said, it is because of my rebellion that I was deserted by the covenant. Then, remembering the strength of thy hand and greatness of thy love, I rose and stood up, and my spirit recovered its balance before the blows. For I relied upon thy mercies, and upon the greatness of thy love. For thou pardoned iniquity, thou hast purified man of his sin through thy justice. All praise to the Most High, because it's still getting me through. At first, this was not working, but all praise to the Most High. We on Psalms E. This is the last song of the New Covenant, Psalms of Thanksgiving. It says, and what is man? Yea, he is only earth. It is of clay that he was made. and it is to dust that he will return. For thou wilt instruct me in such wonders, and thou wilt teach me about the assembly. Yea, I am only dust and ashes. What could I meditate unless thou didst with me? And what thou, they probably meant to say dwellest with me. And what thought could I have without thy good pleasure? How could I display my powers if thou didst not keep me alive? We can't do this on our own by our own power. It's saying, how could I be intelligent if thou didst not form my thoughts? And how could I speak if thou didst not open my mouth? Just like when you wake up, how could you be here if you didn't get the breath of life to wake you up? And you didn't wake you up, you know what I'm saying? And how could I answer if thou didst not instruct me? It is thou who art the prince of the gods and the kings of the venerable ones. I think I said that word right. And the Lord of every spirit and the master of every work. And without thee nothing is done, and nothing has understanding without thy good pleasure. And there is not apart from thee, and no power exists besides thee. All praise to the Most High. Read Psalms 44, not Psalms 44, Isaiah 44, and it speak about what God is it beside me? What God have I formed other than him? I kind of want to read that real quick. Let me get it. Because at the end of the day, it's only one power and one mediator between man and the Most High. And he sent his son to do that, to redeem the lost. But this is why a lot of people misunderstand the New Testament and lose faith because they don't have an understanding on who the Most High is and who he's been. So I'm going to read Isaiah 44. Let me see. It says, Isaiah 44, Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith the Lord that made thee, and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou, Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. Now, when you go into the blue letter into this word, Jeshurun, it's basically the figure of the chosen of Israel. Basically, it's like the perfect, if man was to be perfect, this would be the figure of that man. And we know who that is. It say, for I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thy offspring. And they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the watercourses. One shall say, I'm the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel. This is how you know this is a prophecy, because we've been doing surnames since the medieval times and the dark ages. But ever since that point, we still, since we've been waking up, have been surnaming ourselves as, children of the Most High. Alright, so this the point right here. It say, Thus saith the Lord, the King of Israel and his Redeemer, the Lord of hosts. I am the first and I am the last, and beside me there is no God. What that sound like? It said, and who as I shall call and shall declare it and set it in order for me, since I appointed the ancient people and the things that are coming and shall come. Let them show unto them. Fear ye not, neither be afraid, for not I told thee from that time and have declared it? Have I not told thee from that time and have declared it? Yea, ye are even my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? Yea, there is no God. I know not any. I know not any. He said, I'm the first and I'm the last. Who else said that? Let's get it. Revelation 1. It say the revelation of Jesus Christ, which the Most High gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must surely come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. I'm going to keep going. When you skip down, verse 8. Zaki, man, be quiet. It says, verse 8. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is, which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. Verse 11 saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, and what thou seest, write in a book. And etc., etc. Y'all get the point. I got a whole breakdown on this though, and I'll do it later. But until then, peace and blessings. Shalom. We got my kids here now, so it's a lot of noise. So I finished just in time. My recording was messing with me. I had to do this like 3 times, but all praise to the Most High. I got through it.